It's not just that Russia is big, it's so big it spans 2 continents and wait for it, 10 different time zones. From deserts to frozen coastlines, tall Siberian mountains to giant marshes, Russia is not just the largest country by landmass, it's also one of the most diverse landscapes in the world. So whether you're in for the love of art, culture, or history, or simply want to be whisked away to new nature havens, our Russia Top 10 will have you gasping for more. Number 10. Lake Baikal, Siberia. A little drop of heaven on earth, Lake Baikal is the oldest and deepest lake in the world. It's also the largest freshwater lake by volume. Located in the icy cold hills of Siberia, just a little north of Mongolia, this high-altitude lake reaches a maximum depth of 1,642 meters and estimated to be roughly 25 million years old. Lovingly called the Pearl of Siberia, Lake Baikal is also one of the clearest lakes with 23,000 cubic kilometers of fresh, clean water. Did you know much of the lake's surface freezes for 5 months of the year? A UNESCO World Heritage Site, this ancient lake is also home to over 2,000 unique wildlife species not found anywhere else on Earth. And while it might not be the ideal water for skinny dipping, the lake offers a bunch of fun activities, from kayaking, boat rides, to ice skating and skiing. If you like a wee watery splash of fun, this place is a must-see. Relax in the natural hot springs, or visit the frozen Tazirian Steppes caves, or go island hopping as you explore new beaches set against the most captivating land vistas, making this place one of the most breathtaking spots in the country. Number 9. Red Square, Moscow. One of the oldest and largest city squares in Moscow, the Red Square is steeped in history going back to 13th century. Sprawling over an area of almost 800,000 square feet, the Red Square is best known for its political significance through the ages. The glorious building we see today was built in 1893 by Alexander Pomerantsov, a place to serve as the main marketplace of Moscow, where important ceremonies like the coronation of the Tsar were held. Today, the Red Square is home to several historic buildings, from the jaw-dropping St. Basil's Cathedral to the State Historical Museum, as well as a contemporary mausoleum for the country's famous revolutionary leader Vladimir Lenin. Other must-visit spots include Kazan Cathedral, the Iberian Gate, and the Kremlin Wall. With such a rich cultural and historical past, it's no wonder the Red Square pulls in millions of tourists every year. Number 8. Olkhon Island. Hop on over to the 4th largest lake-bound island in the world. From lush pine forests and steep mountains to coastal sand dunes, did you know the Olkhon is actually the largest island in eastern Siberia? Remarkably well preserved thanks to its isolated location at the center of Lake Baikal, the island is home to a small population of only 1,744 local buryats. Tourists coming in can explore fascinating new places, from the ghost village of Peshanaya to former Soviet labor camps, or this unique natural phenomenon of walking trees where strong winds expose roots. And it's like the Ents from Lord of the Rings are coming alive all over again. And for all you time travelers, the local history museum of Revyakin is another must-see, chronicling life on the island as far as Neolithic times. Number 7. St. Petersburg. Now, heading to the 2nd largest city in Russia, did you know St. Petersburg was the Russian capital for 2 centuries? The city's foundations were laid down in 1703 by Peter the Great, often touted as the Venice of the North, thanks to the massive parks, magnificent churches, museums, monuments, and palaces dispersed throughout the city. Drop by the Imperial Moika Palace or admire the insides of the neoclassical 19th century St. Isaac's Cathedral. For all you history buffs, the Hermitage Museum offers you the 2nd largest art and culture museum in the world, with more than 3 million items for you to check out. Home to some of the most splendid architectural gems of Russia, like the Winter Palace and the Kazan Cathedral, this city is hands down the cultural heart of the country. With plenty of cultural offerings, a happening nightlife, and fine dining opportunities, this place is a traveler's dream. Number 6. Altai. One of the most iconic mountain ranges in the world, the Altai Mountains are located in the heart of Russia. Stretching from icy cold Siberia into neighboring China, Kazakhstan, and Mongolia, the Altai dots some of the most biodiverse regions in Asia. Home to rare wildlife like snow leopards and Argali mountain sheep, the stunning natural landscapes around here are bound to leave you gasping in awe. Picture this: snow-capped mountains, alpine meadows, and freshwater lakes. When summer hits home, this winterland becomes the ideal spot for skiers, hikers, kayakers, and climbers. Apart from its natural beauty, Altai is also known for being home to a wealth of archaeological artifacts. From ancient rock carvings to frozen Scythian tombs, feel free to explore the mysterious, long-deserted caves and stone monuments dating back to prehistoric times. Number 5. Sochi. Poised along the Black Sea, Sochi is the biggest resort city in Russia. Tucked away in the Caucasus Mountains, the subtropical climate of this city makes it the perfect beach getaway in the country. With over 150 kilometers of coastline, Sochi is also a great place for rafting. Sterling-era buildings, long stretches of pebbled sand beaches, and picturesque gardens, Sochi is also world-famous for its tea plantations. But to be fair, it wasn't until the 2014 Winter Olympics that Sochi was put on the global map. From snowboarding in the winters to kite surfing in summers, if you're up for a sporty adventure, this is where you want to be. Number 4. Peterhof Palace. Only an hour's drive from St. Petersburg, this ornate Russian gem is often called Russia's very own Versailles. A classic example of Petrine Baroque architecture, the palace was built in the early 18th century by Peter the Great, who founded the palace as a lavish country estate for himself. Inspired by the Tsar's visit to the actual Versailles in 1717, the Peterhof Palace sprawls over the lower park, upper gardens, sea channel, and 2 small palaces, the Mons Plaisir and the Marly Palace. Spreading over an area of 135,000 square meters, did you know this exquisite Russian palace has a whopping 3,418 rooms? Just for context, that's 5 times more rooms than Buckingham Palace. But the real draw is the Grand Palace. Overlooking a lush French garden dotted with fountains and designed by famous Swiss architect Domenico Trezzini, this is Russian architecture at its finest, with intricate details of gold, art imported all the way from Asia, and pure Chinese silk adorning the walls. Did you know the Grand Palace is home to 10 separate museums, each showcasing rare art, furniture, and artifacts dating back to the 18th century? Number 3. The Golden Ring. One of the oldest inhabited regions in Russia, the Golden Ring is a popular tourist route for travelers looking to learn about authentic Russian history and culture. Deriving its name from the dazzling onion-shaped church domes, the Golden Ring is where you can find the most incredible Russian countryside views. Dotted with cherry orchards, quaint cottages, and historic churches, feel free to rummage your way through small cities and charming towns like the Sergiev Posad, Pereyaslavl, Rostov, Yaroslavl, Ivanovo, and Vladimir. This collection of historic cities is like a trip through time. And guess what? All these historic places within a day's journey from each other. From white stone churches and quaint monasteries to old ring forts, did you know some of these structures date back to medieval times? Number 2. Kizhi Island. Perfectly tucked away in geometric center of Lake Onega in Karelia, this tiny 6-kilometer-long island has been inhabited since the 15th century. The island, whose name originates from the word Kizarswari, or the Island of Games, is home to one of the oldest wooden churches in Russia, the 14th century Church of Lazarus. Feel free to check out the Kizhi Pogos, a unique monument of wooden architecture. This open-air museum with over 80 ancient wooden structures is actually one of the tallest wooden structures in all of Europe. And according to one local legend, this stunning and super durable wooden structure was actually built with no nails and a single axe. Only a ferry journey from the nearby city of Petrozadovsk. Today, the island annually pulls in 200,000 tourists from around the world. Number 1. Kazan. The 5th largest city in Russia, Kazan is an eclectic mix of European and Asian vibes. A vibrant blend of Tatar and Russian cultures. Get ready to see majestic cathedrals and watchtowers perched up along beautifully domed mosques. Often touted as the sports capital of Russia, this culturally diverse city boasts one of the highest standards of living in all of Russia. Every year, people from all over the globe travel to see what remains of the Kremlin, a UNESCO site destroyed by Ivan the Terrible, one of the most ruthless Tsars in Russian history. From the beautiful Kul Sharif Mosque, named after a Muslim man who was killed defending Kazan from Ivan the Terrible, to the super popular Bauman Street, a buzzing shopping street lined with restaurants, bookshops, bars, and boutiques, this place is a must-see. So there you have it, some of the most mesmerizing places in Russia, where you can ski in ice-cold hills of Siberia, or gaze at the stunning northern lights engulfing the Russian sky, or revel in the sight of the dome-shaped raspberry ripples of St. Basil's Cathedral. You're in for a cultural feast. With a unique Eurasian culture, extravagant Baroque buildings, stunning lakeshores, and more than 20 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, no wonder Russia is one of the most fascinating places in the world.